Hi everyone, welcome to Gluten Free Habit. I'm Linda, and today I'm going to show you how to make these gluten-free Asian chicken lettuce wraps. Do you miss having P.F. Chang's Asian chicken lettuce wraps? If you do, you might want to give this recipe a try. I think these can give P.F. Chang's a run for their money. The flavor is amazing, they're fairly easy to make. If you're looking for an appetizer or a game day snack that will wow your friends and your guests, then this is it, because who doesn't love Asian chicken lettuce wraps? And I'm so addicted to these that even though they're an appetizer, sometimes we have them for dinner. This recipe will make about 10 lettuce wraps, so if you have a big crowd, you might want to double the recipe. The full recipe can be found in the description box down below. If you haven't subscribed yet, I hope you'll take a second to do that. And here we go with the ingredients. And as always, make sure they're gluten-free. You'll need 2 boneless, skinless chicken breasts, or the equivalent amount of ground chicken, a white onion, hoisin sauce, and be careful here because not all hoisin sauce is gluten-free, some gluten-free soy sauce, salt, sesame oil, garlic powder, red pepper flakes, peanut butter, brown sugar, a can of water chestnuts, a bunch of green onion, a head of iceberg lettuce, and some cashews. You can find some of these items in the Asian food section of your grocery store. Okay, let's get a few things ready. Let's start with the lettuce. First, what you're going to do is just discard the outer leaf of lettuce. I usually do that just in case it's dirty. Then remove the core. You can do that by just slamming the head of lettuce down on your counter, and then the core will come out. Now I like to make a clean cut at the end of the lettuce head. And then what you want to do is run the head of lettuce under some water. What this does is when the water goes down between the leaves, it loosens the leaves so that they're easy to remove. And then just tip the head of lettuce upside down and let the water drain out. Now you can easily remove each leaf and set it onto a serving platter. Because my platter is not that big, I'll use about half the head of lettuce this time, and the rest of the lettuce can stay chilled in the fridge until I need it. If any of the leaves, especially the outer ones, if they're a little bit too big, you can certainly tear them in half. And I'm using iceberg lettuce here, but it's really a personal preference. I personally like the crunch that you get with the iceberg, but really whatever your favorite is just fine. Put your platter with the lettuce into the fridge to stay cool. Now you'll want to mince your onion. You'll be using about 1/3 to 1/2 of your onion. Once you're done mincing the onion, you can set that over by your stove. Now finally chop the cashews. Cashews tend to be expensive, so if you prefer, you can replace this with peanuts. Put those into a small bowl. After washing your green onion, finely chop the whole bunch. Go ahead and put the green onions in the same bowl as the cashews because we'll be adding them in at the same time. And you can set those over by your stove as well so that they're ready to go. Now drain out your water chestnuts and chop up about half of the can, which will be about 4 ounces. And I like to make these pretty small. Some people like to use more water chestnuts, even double this amount, and that's the great thing about these lettuce wraps is that you can easily make it to your own liking by adding in new ingredients or reducing others. You may want more cashews or less onion, you may want to add finely sliced carrots. There's so much you can do to make it your own creation that perfectly suits your taste buds, and that's the fun of it. Alright, now get out your chicken, trim away any excess fat, and lay a sheet of plastic wrap over it. Now get out something to pound the chicken with. This could be a rolling pin or a metal pounder like what I have here, and start pounding down the thicker spots. The purpose of this is that we need to pound down the higher areas so that the chicken is equally thick throughout, and then that way it will cook evenly. You don't want to have some spots that are overcooked and some that are undercooked, and this will take care of that. Once your chicken is ready, put it into the fridge. Okay, we've done all the prep work, now let's get started. Let's prepare the sauce. This is super simple. Into the same bowl that you have the water chestnuts, you can add your hoisin sauce, soy sauce, salt, sesame oil, garlic powder, red pepper flakes, brown sugar, and peanut butter. Now give that a really good stir, make sure it's all thoroughly mixed up. And this also will get set over by your stove so that it's ready to go. Okay, time to cook the chicken. Set out a large frying pan or a saute pan and heat your oil over slightly higher than medium temperature. You can also use ground chicken if you prefer, either one will work fine. Once the oil is heated, you can add in your chicken and cook them on the first side for about 3 or 4 minutes or until it gets golden underneath. The time really depends on your stove and how hot it gets, but you don't really want to go beyond 3 or 4 minutes because we don't want to overcook it. We want it nice and moist. Now once you set the chicken in, don't be tempted to touch it or move it or flip it or peek at it underneath. Just let it cook. And this is my favorite method, but you may have your own favorite and that's fine too. It doesn't really matter how the chicken gets cooked as long as it's fully cooked and the internal temperature reaches 165 degrees on an instant read thermometer. Once they're golden underneath, you can flip them over and cook for another 3 or 4 minutes. Once you've cooked the chicken on both sides, go ahead and cover the pan, turn the temperature to low, and continue cooking the chicken for another 5 minutes. This will finish cooking the chicken on the inside. When the chicken is done cooking, you can transfer it to a clean cutting board and let it sit for a few minutes so that the juices will redistribute a little bit before you cut it up. Now you want to chop up the chicken into really tiny pieces. You can see how tender the chicken is. It cuts apart easily and it's super moist. Make sure to use safe food handling practices, especially when you're working with chicken. Use a fresh knife and cutting board for the cooked chicken, and be sure to wash your hands frequently. When the chicken is ready, put it into the bowl and you guessed it, set it by your stove with the other ingredients. Okay, we're in the home stretch. All we need to do now is saute the onion and then we're going to be putting these together. I like to do this in the same pan that I cooked the chicken in just so there's less mess to clean up. Just go ahead and scrape out any oil or chicken bits that are in there and start fresh. And then saute the onion in a tiny bit of oil just until it becomes translucent. Okay, here comes the fun, easy part. Once your onion is done cooking, you can add in your sauce mix. You can turn your stove back up to medium-low as you reheat everything. Give that a good stir and let it heat up a little bit. Now add in the chicken and give it a good stir. Let that simmer on low for a couple minutes so that it heats through. And now add your green onions and your cashews and stir that in. And you're done. Okay, let's put together our lettuce wraps. And the way you want to serve these is the chicken mixture should be hot and the lettuce cups should be cold and crispy, and it makes such a refreshing combination. So you can either set out a self-serve tray with the lettuce cups and then the chicken mixture separately with a spoon in it so that everyone can fill their own lettuce cups. Or you can pre-fill the lettuce cups as I'm doing here, and that makes a beautiful presentation and that's easy for your guests, but I would only recommend that if they're going to be eating it immediately. But whichever way you choose, I hope these are a big hit at your gathering. If you think this video was helpful, please do me a favor and click the thumbs up button. And feel free to say hi in the comment section down below, let me know what you think of the recipe, or let me know what else you put in your chicken lettuce wraps. And as always, thank you for watching. Be sure to subscribe if you haven't yet so that you don't miss any of the new recipes. And there you go, gluten-free Asian chicken lettuce wraps. I'll see you next time on Gluten Free Habit.